What's going on, herd? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning into the video. Today we are going to be returning back to the Desert Rally series. We got the Squaddie here. We just tested this in a recent video, and it was surprisingly good off-road. I made just an off-road video, customization and off-road video with this thing, because I figured it's just not really going to fit the... it's just not going to fit the Desert Rally criteria. I don't think it's going to do well, and so I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, it rallies, but it gets a 12 out of 30. I am positive it is not going to be anything like that. Fantastic, 49 seconds in and the Elgato is already failing. Anyways, we need to do the main upgrades on this thing. We need to build this vehicle as we do all of the other Desert Rally vehicles that we've been testing. So standard suspension, we're not going to lower it at all. We got the off-road vehicle. I think the only thing that we don't have is we need the brakes. We got the brakes. So now we're going to build it up a little bit. It's not going to look like this. Let's get all the gear off of it. We'll throw all the lights in the world on her. Oh, I shouldn't have done that one. I should have got the black one. Is there a black one? Oh, there isn't a black one. Horn leaving alone. Lights I'll leave alone. Livery. I do want to throw a little livery on this thing. I was thinking blue, but I like the way red looks after looking at them, so let's do that. Just for the sake of seeing if those lights actually work as well, I'm going to throw something up there. I'm not going to do the running boards just because we're going to lose a little bit of clearance there in the middle. Oh, we don't with those ones, though. We can use these ones. 16.5, I shouldn't have even done that. Leaving the suspension alone, transmission already in there, turbo as well. Wheels, we already got the off-road wheels. I'm just going to change the color, probably to black. Windows I'll leave alone as well, just that light tint, and we are set to bring it to the track. We're going to bring it to the same track that we did the Desert Raid and Sport Truck on. I'm actually thinking this is going to compete. I don't think it's going to be hand-in-hand. I'm sure those trucks will outperform this one, but really there's only one way to know. Bring her to the track. SUVs, though, I don't know about that. Definitely an off-road vehicle, not an SUV vehicle. I mean, it's got a two-person cab on it. So we are on Xbox One at the San Andreas Special. This is round 3 of 3. This is not released yet. However, round 1 and round 2 are released. Go check out the track link, download playlists that we got on the channel. It's got that and plenty of other tracks. Xbox One has a lot more than PS4, but... PS4, we are recreating all 3 of these tracks, and the first one is done. With that said, let's get into this thing. Let's see how she performs. Let's go right first. Oh. Okay, so speed steering is a little bit shady. Oh, tippiness actually is a little more than what you'd expect as well. Oh, we just clipped that thing. That was enough to send us a... Oh, no. Well, I might be eating my words. I'm going to really have to get some practice in with this thing because it's an odd handling line. The front end is actually pretty light, so over the bumps, the front end wants to bounce, just like, you know, how the rear end bounces on a lot of vehicles, and it makes you want to spin out. It's mainly on the off-road, but let's take this one more time. This is where I really noticed it, right in this spot. We got her together that time. Be a little slow to save some time. There we go. It's better. Let's go for the jump. Oh, way too much speed for the jump. Way too much speed for the jump. Didn't seem like it was going to be, though. Man, it's really stiff suspension, too. There's just no give. So, yeah, the stiff suspension really contributes to the tippiness and also to, I mean, when you jump, it's like a pogo stick. It's like the rear end of that Desert Raid. That is really what it is, too. That rear end is just so stiff. Struggling through this part a lot because of that suspension. I mean, you just start bouncing and then you're just slamming off the walls is all it really is. So right off the bat, kind of eating my words, not as good of a performer, kind of more of the performer I expected it to be. Just because it can off-road and, you know, climb a crazy grade does not mean it's going to be a great rally vehicle, plain and simple. You got to have so many good things on your side to be a good rally vehicle. I'm taking this side again because this thing just can't really handle the jumps very well. Alright guys, I have only put in 7 laps here, and I can already pretty much tell you I'm ready to give this thing a grade. First off, this thing gets decimated by the Sport Truck and the Desert Raid, so yes, I am eating my words. It just has some issues, but let's get into it. In this video series, we judge these things on 3 separate aspects. Oh my goodness. We got handling, speed, and cost. Handling is just as it sounds. How does it handle? Suspension, brake, steering, all of that good stuff. The main things on how the vehicle handles, of course. Next in line is speed. How fast is it? Not in a straight line, not against fast vehicles like the Pariah and all that nonsense. We're talking about on the rally track. How does it stack up against the other vehicles that are in the class of rally vehicles within GTA 5 Online? And third is cost. Summing it all up, what are you paying to get that out of the vehicle? Let's start off with the handling line. Like I said earlier in the video, the faster you go, the worse your steering becomes. And I don't know if the whole front thing being light is really a thing. I think it's just mainly you lose a lot of your turning the faster you're going. The issue is to gain back that steering, you have to be going pretty dang slow, so it really slows you down in a lot of corners. It also has really stiff suspension, so big jumps and big bumps and anything you're landing on, you end up just pogo sticking right off of where you're landing and wherever you're going, and it's very, very hard to handle. Just a small little bump will kind of start throwing you out of line, and it's definitely difficult on this track to handle this thing. The brakes are just fine, but the issue is when you're bouncing and you're in the air, guess what? You don't have any brakes. So the brakes do work when you want to use them, and they will slow you down to gain that steering back, and you will make the corner. But, I mean, this is the SUV class, so I don't really know what else you're competing against in this class, but this thing just isn't meeting up with the rest of the field. So handling on this thing, I'm going to give it a 6. I think it has a lot to improve on. Just the bounciness in itself is a removal of 2 points alone for me. It makes it very hard to handle on a rally track like this, where it is a lot of dirt bumps and bounces and trying to avoid this rock and that stump. You need certain things, and this thing just doesn't really deliver on it. So 6 on the handling line. That brings us into speed. Speed on this thing actually isn't bad. The problem is with the handling line, you can't utilize all the speed. You can in certain points, but you're having to hit the brakes and slow down so much for some certain corners. It completely removes the whole speed factor from this thing. You find yourself utilizing a lot of mid RPM and mid speed with this thing a lot more than you are topping out with it. So again, that goes into the handling factor, not the speed factor. The speed isn't terrible with this thing. All in all, I'm going with 7 on speed. I think, because the handling line really doesn't allow you to utilize it sometimes, it may deserve as low as a 6.5. However, it does have the speed, so when you can utilize it, it may deserve as high as a 7.5. I'm just going to kind of split it down the middle. Let's go with the 7 on this thing. Just over 2/3 of the 20 points available. Getting into the final, and this is where, unfortunately, as a rally vehicle, with its performance, it's going to take a hit. The cost. $1,130,000 just to get her stock, just to get her right from the warstock. The upgrades are full price, 50,000 turbo, 40,000 trans, your engine's full price. It's not a cheap vehicle to upgrade. It does have a lot of customizations as well, so if you do want to go full ham mode with it, you're easily in the $1.5 to $1.6 million range. As an off-road vehicle, it's completely different. If I was going to give it a cost range on the last video that we did with this, where we just brought it off-road, it would probably come dang close to a 10. It really is a lot of fun. However, that's not what this is about. This is rallying, and not just rallying, pretty intense rallycross racing where there's jumps and all that stuff. This thing, it's just not cutting it for me. It leaves a lot to be desired, all right? I'll go back to that. Let's sum it up. I'm giving it a 6 on that. That's going to bring us to a solid 20 out of 30 points, an exact 2/3. With that said, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Also, comment below which vehicles do you want to see. Make sure you watch the other Does It Rally episodes so you know which vehicles we have already tested. And of course, as always, I hope you all stay happy, please stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you next time.